We're going to move forward and introduce one of our first incredible guest speakers, Karra-Lee. Karra-Lee is a PDHPE teacher, the best job in the industry, and may I add, the best job in general. Fun fact line, PE teacher in case you missed it earlier, but anyway. As well as that, she's also a Rugby League Referee. Her officiating career began after sustaining injury as a state hurdler. She set many firsts as a female official in a male-dominated sport. Karra-Lee was the first female to be appointed to a first-grade men's grand final in NSW Country League and was awarded the prestigious NSWRL Referee of the Year title in 2019. She has since gone on to officiate at the Festival of World Cups, International Nines Tournament in Samoa, Women's State of Origin, NRLW Grand Final in 2019, NRLW League Grand Final in 2020, and is a NSWRL Rugby League High Performance squad member. Hosting this Q&A is going to be Steve Clark, and if you have any questions for Karra-Lee, there will also be an opportunity at the end, so hang on to them, and we would like to welcome up the absolute legend, Karra-Lee. Thanks, Steve. No swearing.
Thanks, Zara, and welcome, Karra-Lee. Just to put some things in context while I'm up here interviewing Karra-Lee, I've had the pleasure of knowing Karra-Lee since she was a 17-year-old rookie ref, which I won't give away her age, but it was about 13 years ago. I saw her down at Wagga. I was sent down I was employed at the NRL at the time, and I was sent down to watch a young male referee refereeing an under-14s tournament down at Wagga, and they gave me some communications equipment to listen to the officials when I got there. There was two games going side by side, one that this other fellow was refereeing on, and the other round Karra-Lee was refereeing on. When I put the communications gear on, it was quite obvious that it wasn't the guy that I was listening to. I was listening to Karra-Lee. So I watched her, and she ended up being better than him anyway. So that worked out quite well. The next time I saw her was about a month later at a all-schools carnival at St Mary's, and saw her again, and to me, she was someone who always showed great talent. So from that point on, I met her parents and offered my assistance where I could to help her out. And I followed her career quite closely over many years and had the pleasure of mentoring her through the majority of that. So, as Zara just said, Karra-Lee started, she was a state hurdler, great, good athlete, injured. Why did you, after you got injured, why did you decide to go to refereeing?
I guess started refereeing, had an ACL reconstruction at 15, so I was still at high school at the time. I was heavy into touch footy as well. I pretty much was juggling anything at school, and I loved playing every sport possible. So I was pretty much meant to trial for the NSWS in their hurdling program, and obviously get selected into that New South Wales team, and ended up snapping my ACL and did a whole heap of other stuff. I guess, come back from that journey, 15-year-old, when all your mates are out playing sport is pretty tough. And obviously I think I learned quite quick how to be resilient, whilst everyone else was succeeding in sport. I ended up coming back hurdling, and I just think the love for obviously what it wasn't there. People change as they go through adverse moments, so I think that's what happened. And at the time my dad was a rugby league referee, and I had two older brothers that played rugby league, so for me rugby league was always in my DNA, and I think it was just a matter of time before that door opened, and I obviously went down that pathway. So decided to pick up the whistle. Initially didn't like it, I hated it, and I said to my dad, I'm not going back, no one likes you, everyone hates you, you're getting abused left, right and centre. It's like being at home with my brothers. And I was like, I just said to him, I don't even know why you guys do this, like seriously. I then pretty much got picked up that year at a competition down in Ulladulla, and haven't looked back. I think there's probably still moments where I go, did I make the right decision? But we'll probably touch on a few of those later.
We certainly will. So you started in the juniors, you obviously had some regrets, as most people, I think most people that go into officiating, to be honest with you, when they start, they think, you know, why the hell am I doing this? And I certainly had those moments. And then you wanted to get into the junior rep system in New South Wales Rugby League, but you had some issues getting in there. You just want to tell everybody about what they were?
Yeah, I was in the country New South Wales development program at the time, and wanted to get into the New South Wales junior rep program. So it was basically like a tiered development system. At the time, a vague memory, I was repping at a New South Wales All Schools Carnival and was selected to referee the 16 state final in the school system. So I was one of 10 males, 1 female, and was successfully selected to referee that game. And then the bloke that was running that competition rang through to say, Karra-Lee would be refereeing the final at St Mary's, so I had to travel across, 15-minute drive to referee the final, and then I got a phone call back to say that no, Karra-Lee was not refereeing that game. Was there any other males that could referee that final? And yeah.
And this is the and I don't want to make poor Karra-Lee cry here, but this is the and we'll get through some other things as best we can, and this gets to the point that I was talking about earlier. The female officials, and I'm just talking here while Karra-Lee, she has got a good sense of humour, and Karra-Lee's gone through everyone's refereeing career is a roller coaster. We all know that. You have your ups, you have your downs. One question that I was going to ask Karra-Lee. Now, you never ask questions you don't know the answers to, but I'll say it. Karra-Lee she didn't get that game. The guy that was heading up that junior rep system didn't want a female refereeing the game, point blank. And I spoke to him over there later that day, and I said, have you ever asked Karra-Lee to go into your junior rep squad, which is a centralised squad which was training. Now they train over here at the Centre of Excellence, which is just over the road, which is the one my daughter's in currently. And he said no. He said she lives in Shell Harbour, doesn't want to come up. There was all the excuses under the sun. And I said, well, have you asked her? He said no. I said, well, I have, and I've asked the parents, and she's happy to drive up. She wants to be in it. And I said, she's better than 95% of the people in your squad currently. I said, you're mad, put her in. To cut a long story short, she got in the end. But that was just the start of some of the challenges that Karra-Lee has faced, and she's had many, many very good moments, which was read out in her bio. So I'll go forward from that. We get to the high performance squad. I'll let you tell the stats about how many people are in that squad and the breakup of it in terms of males and females.
Obviously progressed through the junior rep system. Now currently in the high performance squad we added 2 extra males, would have been late September, so I think the ratio at the moment sits 1 to 44. So the only female in my squad at the moment, and in terms of members of staff and coaching staff, they're all males as well. So can be a bit of a tough slog week to week, but obviously we have our moments, but we keep fighting, and hopefully one day soon that there'll be more females obviously joining me, and if not, if I'm gone, hopefully we see more than one person. Hopefully we see 10 to 20 or 30 in that squad, and hopefully in the space of rugby league and in officiating in general that females aren't a rarity. We're just part of the general norm of sport and how sport revolves and continues.
100%, very well said. So Karra-Lee's 1 in 40, 41, which is a pretty poor ratio in anyone's language, and you can only begin to imagine the pressure that puts on a female official when you're in that environment of 1 in 44, turning up to training, go over to the Centre of Excellence, you get there's change rooms there. There's 40 guys downstairs all gibbering and talking as they do when they're getting ready for training. There's poor Karra-Lee upstairs in a room on her own. So and I know you very well, you're a very tough cookie. Your resilience is it has no bounds. How within yourself have you dealt with all those challenges? And we won't be spending all the time on negatives, we'll be going into the positives very soon.
I think obviously finding a close-knit circle around me. Obviously I'm fortunate enough, there's a few of the boys at training that I'm very close mates with. There's a few in there that are like family to me, they've become like brothers over the years. So obviously relying on them, offloading on them, when you get the chance. We did have a female physio who I did connect well with, but she went on to bigger and better things in dancing and in a different sport, so that was a loss for me. But I think leaning on my family at home. I've got 2 older brothers as well, and Dad's ex-military, so we're probably always bred tough. Not to say that you obviously can't be showing emotions and things like that. I think that's probably something that's normal in our household and something that we're quite comfortable with doing. At work, my head teacher's outstanding. She's honestly like a sister to me, and it's always good to have people external to the sport that you can talk to and share those things with. And I think, I had a 30th birthday the other week and had 60 people there, and I meant what I said when I had my top 60, because those people are my people, and like people say it takes a village to obviously to reach success and reach the top, and I'm grateful for those people. And that's part of the things. Other things I like to do is I'm a bit of a larrikin and I like to dance around the change rooms and things like that. Obviously like to listen to music. I do like talking a lot, so sometimes I forget to phone roll because I'm too busy in a conversation talking to someone else. But there's some of the little things, and then as Steve alluded to before, a mentor. I feel we've been close friends since I was 17, and he's like a father figure to me, and always even now external to rugby league, always will be there to pick up the phone and help me through the dark times as well as the good times. So I just think for me it's just about just keep fighting strong, and obviously leaning on the people you have around you, because they're so important when sport's said and gone and your time's done. At the end of the day, you've got to have a purpose and a reason why you obviously get out of bed each day. So I'm grateful for the people that I have.
Okay, let's move on to some positives. So 2019 Referee of the Year in New South Wales Country Rugby League. How did that make you feel when you got that?
It was unreal. I think to referee the top tier country men's game hadn't obviously been done by a female before, and there was a bit of a story. The week prior, I ref the semi-final, and I actually rolled my ankle just coming out of the in-goal, so I think I refereed half the game. And my male counterpart, which is one of my best mates, actually refereed the other game. I was competing against him. Throughout the week, obviously, people kept checking on me, and I was like, oh, this is strange, People kept ringing, like, obviously the grand final's next week, like I won't be doing it kind of thing. People just kept ringing in and saying, oh, are you okay? Have you taken this? Have you done this? And I was like, oh, maybe there is something coming next week. And then I obviously answered the phone call and said, yeah, I'm good to go, let's strap it up, I don't care, I'll take Panadol, Nurofen, and on we go, because there was no way I was missing that game if it was mine. And sure enough it was. And then, went to the awards presentation, and to be announced the Referee of the Year, which there's probably cast 1,000 referees that were competing all throughout the year to be crowned as the #1 referee is something surreal. I mean, for me it's always about just doing my best, but I think it's important to acknowledge that you know, we are female, we are different. You know, at the end of the day, yes, I'm still an official, and I obviously want to be treated as an official, but we need to accept the fact that we are different in many ways and many aspects. And I think that for me, and obviously for my family and for yourself, was a very proud moment, and one for the history books. And I always touch on, I guess, success and what that means to different people, and regardless of whether I make the NRL or not, I still feel that moment in that time was success, and it's a very proud moment of mine.
As it should be. And that's an award that was given across the state. It's not just for female officials; it's open to male, females across the whole of New South Wales. And for a female official to come out as number one is a significant achievement in anyone's language. So beyond that, so 2019, and I know KL, as we call her, has great goals to get to the NRL, and quite rightly, in my personal opinion, good enough to get there. Battling the political minefield that is officiating to try and get there. Very similar to what we have in basketball in many respects. We know there's a political minefield from time to time for different people in our sport, and rugby league's no different. So KL's aiming to get to the NRL, and her next step is NRLW. And you finally get to NRLW. What was that like? Refereeing on some of those big grounds, and then finally getting through to Grand Final.
Yeah, it was cool. I think, a lot of the girls that were playing were roughly around my age. Some were younger, but there was always a lot of hype in the media and things like that around NRLW. But for me, it was about, giving my best to obviously the 26 players on the field, regardless whether they were male, female, or any other gender for that matter. But I always wanted to be a part of NRLW because I obviously enjoy refereeing the women's game, and it's something that you aspire to reach that goal, and see other like-minded athletes out on the field, and being a part of that, and a small part of that, is a pretty significant moment. And currently still enjoy being involved in that space and seeing that space develop. I was fortunate enough this year in the teaching department to co-assist coaching the New South Wales CHS girls rugby league team, and we took the girls up to Redcliffe, and now some of those girls have got like development contracts for NRLW, so helping coach them and assist them now to see them obviously succeed and start to become the next up and coming NRLW players is something very rewarding. And I think as a teacher, obviously you thrive off seeing people smile and want to achieve their goals, and playing a small part in that, and now obviously being able to officiate in that space is something that I appreciate mostly.
If I was to ask you what's the greatest, outside of your Referee of the Year award, and you think about all the different levels of rugby league, what's your greatest appointment you've got, or the greatest opportunity you've had?
Would have been last year's test match up in Brisbane. I refereed the Prime Minister's 13 match between Australia and PNG, and had the great pleasure of meeting Anthony Albanese. There was, I'm a fan, I don't know about you, but anyway. Albo's good. It was good to obviously be involved and, see the girls exchange their culture and why that game meant so much to them. I was fortunate enough to have my older brother there, and my auntie and uncle and two cousins, and for context, they're not massive, not a massive sporting family. I think they've only ever watched the men's State of Origin on TV, so it's the first game they've watched of rugby league live. So to have them there was really significant, and just to be involved in the top game of your country at that time, at that point in time, was surreal. And like I said, to obviously meet the Prime Ministers is a rare occasion, and I was super grateful, and hopefully I can do it again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully you can. And that was a game on Suncorp Stadium and televised live on Channel 9, Fox Sports. So a lot of coverage. You mentioned State of Origin. You were fortunate enough to do a State of Origin up in Sunshine Coast. I'll let Karra-Lee talk about the experience, but I'll just talk about a little story in the lead up to it. So I'm driving over to a game of OzTag that my kids were playing in. It was I can't remember what, it was a Monday night or a Tuesday night. And it was about the time when COVID was going on, that Anastasia Palaszczuk was closing the borders, opening the borders and all sorts of things. And I'm driving over to this footy ground where my kids were going to be playing, and I hear on the radio that Anastasia Palaszczuk was closing the borders from 1 a.m. that night. Karra-Lee, and I know, knowing Karra-Lee as I do, she wouldn't have been listening to Radio 2GB in Sydney. I was probably listening to Triple J or something like that. And I thought she wouldn't have heard that, so because it had only just broken. And Karra-Lee was due to fly out the next day for her first State of Origin game. So I called her, said, "Have you heard this?" No. There was instant panic stations in the Nolan household. Elaine, Bernie, that's the parents, and Karra-Lee started packing bags. I was on the phone over at the side of the road near my daughter's ground looking for any available airline seats to the Gold Coast or to Brisbane, either or. And we finally got the last seat on a Qantas flight to Brisbane. Her auntie, who lives on the Gold Coast, had to go up, all drive up to Brisbane, pick her up, drive her all the way back down to the Gold Coast. All self-funded, by the way, to get up there in an emergency. There was flights booked by the NRL, but they were for the next day. No good, and no one from the NRL had done anything about it. It was just fortunate that I heard it on the radio, I guess. But you got up there. What was it like?
Hectic. Yeah, I remember obviously the COVID times. Anyway, I'll say it, I think said. My two cousins in Queensland actually did my declaration to get me through the border. So it's near about Heathcote. I'm sure the airport still hadn't had my declaration at the time. It come through about 5 minutes later, so it was too late. We were already on the way to the airport, so we were going to risk it for whatever it was worth, and hopefully the declaration came in time. So my two cousins were lifesavers in that period. Yeah, we booked the flight. I was the last flight out. There was masks everywhere. Everyone was freaking out. I don't even know what I packed in my bag. All I know is I had a bag that was very heavy for 2 nights. But yeah, obviously got up there. My auntie and uncle picked me up at midnight. Stayed at their house, and then the following night made my way up to Brisbane, and then went from Brisbane to the Sunshine Coast, and got to the Sunshine Coast thinking, yeah, Origin, how good, and it was pouring rain the whole time. So I'm not really a fan of officiating in the rain, but I was kind of well, just suck it up, let's go. Yeah, so officiated up there, and yeah, it was a surreal moment. I think Queensland ended up winning that game up there, and just the crowd was in and amongst it. It was a rare occasion for Origin to be up there. It was actually the first time they had it up there. So for me, you know, regardless of how much came out of my pocket, I was not missing that opportunity for love nor money. And it's something that, you know, obviously a testament to my love for rugby league and wanting to be a part of that. And yeah, just enjoyed the moment a lot. I think the following year I went on to referee the 19s Origin at Leichhardt. And at the time my school actually funded a bus of school kids up to the game. I knew they were going, but I thought they were going for the men's game after it. So the school kids come up to the game. They had a massive sign on the hill, and I remember at the end, because COVID was still rearing, I remember asking, could I go back out to see the kids, and went back out, and there was 30, 40 of them on the hill, and just the smiles on their faces was surreal. So yeah, I guess obviously when we mesh the experience of State of Origin, it's more than just a game. It's just a surreal moment for everyone, and everyone that's involved in my life.
Yeah, it was a great night. I remember watching on TV with great pride to see you do that. Just wanted to talk about the resilient nature that you have, and thinking about your squad over the road here. Karra-Lee's in the position where she's got a couple of sponsors. She has provided gear. She's sponsored by LSKD. She's sponsored by True Protein. She did have a part-time sponsorship with Nike for footwear. You turn up to training wearing some of this gear, and some of these lesser light males that you're competing with start giving you a bit of stick about your success in getting these sponsors. How did you deal with that?
Look, sometimes it obviously gets to you. I try not to obviously bite back or anything like that, because obviously, you know, you obviously stoop down to their level. Look, at the end of the day, it's, you know, people normally say stuff that's not polite or not positive if they're obviously jealous or envious of what you have. And yeah, like, you know, obviously offload to people around me, and you know, sometimes, you know, words do hurt, as anyone can experience. But for me, I probably more now turn that as around as a chance to, you know, promote the companies that I'm fortunate enough to be sponsored by, and even at school, just help be a good role model, be a good advocate in rugby league, and obviously as a teacher as well. So for me, yeah, I guess it's probably more now water off a duck's back. It's probably taken a fair few years to get to that point where I just don't care, and nor do I care what anyone thinks or says. But yeah, now just, you know, super grateful, because at the end of the day, we all want to be successful in whatever it is we do, and for some other people, they're fortunate enough to have bigger and better sponsors, but for me, it's just about being grateful and utilising them as best I can, and obviously showcasing other females that there is a chance to be involved in sport and be sponsored and live up to, you know, the values of that company. So yeah, I guess I probably more turn it around as a positive now, and yeah, just keep rolling, and hopefully more sponsors come on board.
Let's hope so. So you've had quite some success on the park, and I know you've had the downtimes as well. You know, as I said earlier about the roller coaster ride. So, and all that comes about the preparation, how you prepare for games. I know you're very diligent in, you know, in most of the time in, you know, your food and what you eat, and all, you know, what you drink. When you get to training, you know, you've got a fitness test. We have, you know, in basketball, and as all our active officials here now, and our former officials would know, we have fitness testing requirements and all the things that we do in pre-season clinics or action days, you know, depending on what people call them. But you get over there to league and you're running with all these guys, and you're doing 1.2k time trials and, you know, all the other things you do. What's your thoughts on their expectations that your outcomes are measured against the males, knowing what you do through your PDHPE expertise?
Yeah, look, I think obviously it's something that needs to be worked on in not just rugby league, in all sports. Obviously we can't compare bananas and apples, because they're quite, you know, vastly different. Yeah, I do a fair bit of research and looking into obviously female athletes. I read a fair bit about the menstrual cycle and how that affects Olympians and all that kind of stuff. And for me, I think it's not necessarily the on-field performances. I'm all for them being, you know, equally measured across the board, but when it comes to physical ability, strength, and all that kind of training, we are vastly different. I mean, you know, next year you take the men's 100 metre sprint, and you take the fastest female from the 100 metre sprint, she wouldn't even make the men's times. And it's not to say she's not an incredible athlete. It's just, that's the cycle. I mean, the physiological makeup of what we are. We are at 20% less VO2 max. We are better in strength and backing strength up. We're better in flexibility. Males are better at doing other things. It's not a matter of comparing. It's just a matter of acknowledging where we are strong in each counterpart, and obviously having measures that are in accordance to you know, the female athletes, because you know, what we don't want as a sport and obviously as a society is for girls to feel like they're not good enough and they can't compete with males, and realistically, nor should we have to. You know, we're not asking for a leg up or an easier pathway. We're just asking for the measures and the things that go along with the testing to be measured against other females. So for me, I'm happy to be measured against a Jillaroo player or the top basketball official or the top AFL umpire. That's fine, that doesn't bother me. But I think that's something that, I think we need to obviously acknowledge and start to look at, well, how it is we provide an inclusive environment and measures that are supportive of females. Because I know myself when, and it's like, most people, when you see something that's highlighted red, your brain automatically thinks it's bad. And like I could be running over there, I could be flying compared to someone else in another sport, but in that sport, that's how it is. I think in all sports we need to find ways in which we include science and understand how females' bodies work and perform, and hopefully in 10 years' time that we do have our own measures and our own performance indicators that we can achieve.
Very well said. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I've seen some of the outcomes, obviously from my rugby league days over the road here, and Karra-Lee's running a 1.2k time trial against 40 guys, and she's never going to be as quick or as strong as those guys that she's running with. Physiology will tell you that. But this is where I get back to the point I was making earlier in the day. The administrators of the sport need to start opening their eyes up to this stuff. They can't look at, because Karra-Lee's at the back of the pack and think that she's unfit. If there was a speed test or something, that she will blow most of them out of the water because of her hurdling background. Long distance is not her thing, but also long distance against the males is a difficult equation to make, because you never see in the Olympics the 100 metres, as the point Karra-Lee was making, that the 100 metres men final and the 100 metres women final, two different races. You're not seeing them mixed. The champion women runner in the 100 metres women final is a supremely fit athlete, as is the male in the 100, but the leader of the winner of the women's is never going to beat the winner of the men's. You probably shouldn't say never, I guess, but most likely not. If you were to provide advice to a young lady, young girl who wants to get into officiating, what would you tell them about the benefits and the pitfalls and how they should be ready for it?
I just think obviously the first thing I would say is make sure you get a strong support network around you. Officiating on its own, you're not popular, you're not well liked, you're in the media. If teams don't perform or things don't go a certain perceived way, it's always the referee's fault. And I think being able to understand that what you do as an official is not necessarily something that's always acknowledged. We're often we're often forgotten for the role we partake, and setting up that platform for that game to succeed. And I think that's something that's important to acknowledge. Like, you go out there and you set up that game, whether you penalise or not, or whatever you choose to do, whether you choose to have an interaction with a captain or not. However you officiate that game, that's something that you've provided that platform for those players to succeed. So at the end of the day, if I wanted to go out there and blow 50 penalties, I'm probably going to get kicked to the backside the following week, but that's something you can control. And I think that's something that we really should be super proud of, because we're actually providing that platform for those players to look good, to perform and to succeed. So as a referee, I think that's something important to acknowledge. I think, obviously in the early days it's tough. And like I said, there's no smooth sailing, there's plenty of highs and plenty of lows, and I've dealt with that this year. I've been on a bit of a roller coaster myself, but at the end of the day, it's like anything in life to succeed. Hard work, persistence, and dedication. They're the three things to obviously succeed. But at the end of the day, you need to obviously understand that sometimes things don't happen. Sometimes other people's opinions and power can take that away quite quickly. So it's important to understand that obviously in sport, things can go your way and things can't, but if you enjoy it and you genuinely do love it, then continue with it, persist with it. At the end of the day, like I said, success to me isn't measured on refereeing the top NRL, the top NBL games. Success is what you determine. And success to you might be to referee 5 years and then transition into a mentor, transition into something else. It's not defined by the pinnacle. It's defined on who you are as a person and what you deliver in that sport. And I think as young girls, obviously staying within the sport and taking up officiating, stick with it. Like I said, there's plenty of important moments, there's plenty of unreal moments, travelling, seeing the world, meeting new people. Like I said, I can't wait for sport to have so many females running around in all facets, whether it's CEO, down to, the bottom grassroots level referee. Let's keep pushing and, together as one, we can make the world a difference.
Very well said. Can I just say, just to wrap up, as I said at the start, I've known Karra-Lee for a long time. I have no doubt at some stage, for those of you in the room, if there's any that follow footy or just follow, officiating more generally, you will see her around. I spend a lot of time on the phone to her, talking her into not quitting, because sometimes the pressure that comes with and I describe the male attitudes over the road here, they don't know how to deal with it. And Karra-Lee's in a very tough spot over there. She deals with it remarkably well with the support network around her, but she's the one who's got to go out there and do the thing, and she does it well. And and I'm really glad that she accepted our invitation to come and talk to all of us today and to share her experiences. So if you can join with me in thanking Karra-Lee.
I think they're running away, they're not. So Steve already summed it up really nicely, and I just want to echo exactly what Karra-Lee has said. I had the privilege of working with NSW earlier this year and working with a lot of you, but I have seen firsthand just how passionate and Steve has been a mentor for Karra-Lee and vice versa. There's many meetings we've been sitting in when I've been trying to pick Steve's brain about something in particular, and he's like, I've got to take this call. Karra-Lee's there, I just need to chat, I know what's coming. So Karra-Lee and Steve, a big congratulations on just how hard you've worked over the last couple of years, and particularly in you and leading your way in refereeing. And I think the theme of today is specifically legacy. We want to leave a legacy, leave a mark, and that's something that particularly us over there, we're reflecting on into the theme of today as we get our next guest speaker up later on, as well as our panels, and then this afternoon you're stuck with me again, I apologise, Rachel and I, as we talk about resilience and wellbeing. So on behalf of us, we'd like to give you a very fabulous green whistle, because whenever you're riffing, you can think of us as green. Or you can come to basketball, something you get.
I have been trying to talk her into coming to basketball, she's knocked me back a few times, but I'll keep chipping away.
That's right, we'll see Steve on the other side of the court too. So we do have a couple of questions, and pardon me as I have horrible eyesight and move to this side of the room. Ladies, if you have your Slido up and you feel comfortable to put your questions up there, or if not, it's not school, don't raise your hands, but I thought I'd just moderate the questions if you're comfortable with it. So the first one we have is it's cute, sorry. You're an absolutely incredible inspiration to us all. Who would be your top 3 mentors that inspired your career?
I didn't ask that question.
Who said I was mentioning you?
I said no swearing.
That was him, not me. I think, I'm going to say parents, because they're going to sit on the top tier, mum and dad. I think obviously from day one, regardless of whatever I did, whether it was school, sport, my parents always encouraged me to give my best, and obviously just all round being a good person at the end of the day.
you know, there's always that saying, you know, how you leave people feeling is a trademark of your logo, and that's your legacy. And, you know, the girls talked about legacy, and for me it's about, you know, being a good person and giving my best, and regardless of how far I go within the officiating space, you know, they're always proud of me in that sense. So my parents, Clarkie's been there since I was 17, many highs and lows, and yeah, obviously a lifelong friendship that will obviously continue, unless you obviously stub your toe. But yeah, super grateful for all the work that you've done in the early part, and obviously in the last couple of years. And then the third mentor probably would be, like I said, my head teacher at the moment. She's external to the sport, but she's got a good head on her shoulders, and someone that you know, always brings out the best in me, and in the workforce as well. So someone that I enjoy being around, you know, someone that I look up to. So yeah, she's been rock solid in the last couple of years, and yeah, I love her like a sister. So the three politely, not to discount, there's probably more than three, but probably the three most significant at the moment. Yeah.
Next one we have is what keeps your drive for officiating?
Yeah, this is motivation goes in and out. There was probably a period there, the back end of this season, where my motivation was low, and I took some time away from training and things like that. Not that anyone else knows, but I knew. Just to find myself and find my reason why. And you know, obviously you get through sessions and you go like, why am I here? Why am I putting myself through this? But obviously I have a desire to succeed, but I also have a desire to help the next generation coming through. And you know, I feel like it's not an ownership, but the onus is probably on me to help you know, pave the way for the next girls coming through and continue to challenge the standards and the applications within each sport. And you know, I was having a conversation the other day at work, and you know, I don't care whether, you know, what sport you officiate in. For me, it's like I said, it's about growing females in the room and getting more in. And you know, hopefully one day the next girl overtakes me and referees far more games than me, and then vice versa the whole way down the food chain. So yeah, I obviously use that as a strong motivational point to not let people down, because that's one of the things that I don't like to do. Yeah, I just, you know, feel like giving my best, and you know, obviously just staying true to myself as a human being, you know, whether people like me or not, but yeah, just staying true to myself, and you know, keep turning up. And you know, sometimes when I'm in that gym, I think of the boys across the road doing their sessions, and how I can beat them, because like I said, I grew up with two brothers, so I love the challenge of trying to rival up the boys and give them a bit of stick. So yeah.
How hard is it to get girls to start refereeing in such a male-dominated sport or rugby league, and how are you working on this?
Yeah, super hard. Like I said, I'm fortunate enough being a teacher at school, and the kids at school ask questions, and you know, I guess I'm probably a walking mannequin role model. They see me on TV 1 minute, and next thing you know, I'm teaching them up the front of the classroom. So I'm very, very lucky in that sense. And you know, I coach the girls at school. I coach the Rugby League girls team. You know, I took them through to a few championships, and I built a fair bit of rapport with those girls. So I encourage them in their playing space, but yeah, I guess just try to share my story as much as I can, and give time to mentor younger girls. You know, there's no point of me sitting up here and not helping the next generation, because you're not doing anyone a service, and you know, you can't stand around parading around that you're helping people when, you know, realistically you're not. So for me, it's about, you know, getting down and, you know, whether it's checking in via text or ringing them. Yeah, I feel like it's just about putting yourself out there as a person and letting people know that you are human, you know, regardless of whether you're on TV, whether you're a school teacher. Like, I'm the biggest knock-around person ever, and like I'll give my whole heart to helping someone if they ask for help.
I'm going to put these two questions together. What is your pre-game routine, and are you superstitious?
Yes. Yes, very superstitious. Yes, I have lucky socks. I have lucky underwear, sorry for the males in the room. Yeah, lucky underwear, lucky socks, lucky bra. I guess just when I've officiated in obviously that, yeah, now it's kind of like stuck with me and I'm like, oh, I refereed that in it, so I refereed really well. What else am I superstitious about? Sometimes my nan, I have a necklace, she passed 6 months to the day I was born, but I have a necklace that was hers. And some, like on significant games, I like to wear that. So something that's quite special. And then yeah, pre-game, like I said, like I like to be real, you know, energetic and just, you know, feel real comfortable. I don't really like hostile environments where people are dead serious. Like it's not my thing. I really struggle, hence why I struggle going into the library at school because I'm obviously quite loud. But yeah, I just obviously try to listen to music, have a bit of fun with that. And then, yeah, left sock, left shoe, right sock, right shoe. And then, yeah, actually I'm pretty superstitious, eh? And yeah, and then whatever happens in the games happens in the games, because obviously I can't control that. But yeah, I do, yeah, left sock, yeah. Well, that's pretty weird, but anyway, whatever.
I think, and I'm going to talk to a few girls that are in front of us that are part of our elite group, that there are some superstitions in front of us.
Yeah.
They'll keep me laughing, but I know they happen. What are you hoping your legacy will be in this sport?
I think it's, yeah, for me it's about being true to yourself. Like I said, there'll be plenty of people that'll have opinions, people that'll have perceptions, people that'll try and say things about you, whether they like you or not. Like I said, for me it's about encouraging young girls to be comfortable in their body and be comfortable in who they are on the field and off the field. You know, at the end of the day, you know, some of us are probably blessed with genetics, and we will put it down to genetics. But yeah, just being comfortable in who you are as a person and allowing people to see that. You know, we're always conformed in, you know, sticking to the road rules, sticking to this. We've always got rules everywhere. Like, just at the end of the day, just be true to yourself, and hopefully I can encourage young girls to be comfortable in their career path and whatever that looks like, that they're proud of themselves.
And I might use this as the last question before we have a bit of a break. What's next in your officiating career?
It's $1 million question. Yeah, look, obviously have aspirations to touch judge in the men's NRL competition. Hopefully can obviously, you know, become an NRL referee within their squad, and obviously have a full-time contract in that position. But for currently, I guess obviously next Monday, just rocking up and giving my best, and continue to, you know, keep working on myself and, you know, my own strengths and weaknesses. And next year, I don't know what that will look like, because, you know, it's obviously up in the air, we don't get told, but just giving my best regardless. And like I said, just, you know, if I give it a red hot crack, you know, if I walk away at the end of the year or whenever it is that I decide to finish up, at least I can say I've done it, you know, with a 100% effort and given it my best attitude. So yeah, that's what I hope for next year.
Well, we'll just have a bit of a break where people can get a little bit more food if you're interested, or duck to the bathroom before our next speaker. But just a final round of applause for Karra-Lee.